Hi everybody, my name is Yannick Beaulieu. I'm a critical care physician and cardiologist practicing here in Montreal, Canada. And I'm the creator of Reacts and founder of the application. And I've been working with Doctors Without Borders for a couple of months, doing very interesting work. So what I will be doing today is kind of a fairly brief demo of the Reacts application so that you can see the main uses and how it can be used. So I'm going to start by showing you a few things offline, what happens when you start the application, and then we'll connect with a colleague of mine who's at an outside office, and we'll do a demo showing you so you'll be able to see what's happening on the screen, and hopefully this will give you a pretty good understanding of the application and all the capabilities. Plus, you have 50 plus tutorials on the website that you can go through in order to really learn how to use each different features and learn about the application. So today, the goal is really to just go over a broad overview, but then you'll be able on the website to go through specific tutorials depending on your needs. So let's start. So first, just in case you don't have the Reacts application, you can go and get it on the internet. You just go to reacts.com, which will bring you to the Innovative Imaging Technology, which is our company website, where everything about Reacts is there. And you just have to go to free trial. And if you don't have a Reacts account, you can create a free account. So you go to create an account, you type your name, your email address, and a password. The password must have one capital letter and one number in it with a total of 8 characters. So once this is done, you create your account, and then you'll be able to download the application for free. So if I go back to free trial, you'll just be able to click here and download the application. And then for 2 weeks, you'll be able to do anything and invite other users and try the app. For now, this is the full Windows version. We also have a light version, which is a very simple version of the app for iPhone, iPad. And the Mac OS 6 version will be coming out in 2017, as well as the Android version, which will be later in 2017. So now, once the app is installed and your account is created, you'll have an icon on your desktop. So let's click on it. This will launch the application and with the secure tunnel. So you'll just have to type your email and then your password, and note that you can appear either as online, offline, or busy, depending on if you want to be quiet when you're doing your session without other people calling you. But if you appear as online, they'll be able to call you whenever they see you that you're on. So here you just type again email and password and then log in. So now the secure connection is being established. And for sure, you need a minimal performance of the internet to be able to have a decent performance on Reacts. So here, when you log in, first thing you see every time is that you have to make sure your audio video settings are adequate. In Reacts, you can connect multiple webcams, and this is why you have to make sure everything you need is adequate. So here I have 2 webcams. I have a portable Logitech webcam that I can move around, and in this case, it's this one that I'm using for the face-to-face. So here you can see select camera for face-to-face mode, which is the one that will appear when you launch a session. I also have a second camera that you can see here. It's my the camera incorporated in my computer. By default, the other video feeds are on at the off position, but to turn it on, you just have to click on it and it becomes on. And here you can see that I could select that one. So I could decide I would have my other camera, to show something else, and that one would be my face-to-face one. But I always prefer to take my portable one, which has a higher quality. Then you make sure the right microphone is selected, because you have your computer microphone, your camera microphone, and sometimes you even have potentially a USB microphone. So make sure the one that, like here, I'm selecting the one from my mic that I have on my head. And speakers, you can have one external speakers, headphones. So again, make sure that you use the correct one, and then you can test it to make sure that the sound is good, and then you save your setups. Don't forget that if you connect other cameras or if you connect other inputs or microphone after that the application is started, you may have to click on a refresh list of inputs so that they appear when you look at the different choices. And then by default, the next time you log in, if your same peripherals are connected, you should have nothing to do, and they should all be connected already. So here in React, you can connect multiple video feeds. I'm even going to connect others a bit later. And if you don't want to take too much bandwidth, make sure that when you start a session, you only use the first one or the main one. So here I'm going to kill or just close my camera, which is my internal cam. So the camera that will be active when the session starts will be my Logitech webcam. So here, by the way, the application is right now in 5 languages. Right now I'm set up on English. If you want to use another language, you go to Settings, choose a language, and here you have English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Chinese. And in the coming months, we're going to have about a dozen more languages being added here. Okay, so you can use, you confirm the one you want. Okay, and then in settings there are other things, so you can adjust different settings in your account. You can go back to your audio video settings. If ever you decide that some video inputs you don't want to use them, so you can do a right click on your video input. Let's say my internal webcam, and I would go here, right click, delete, and here it tells me if you delete it, the camera will then be into your deleted input. So I do confirm. And if eventually I just want to reactivate it to put it back, I go to deleted inputs. I go here. Oh, I find it right here, HP True Vision. I reactivate it and it will come back. So fairly intuitive. And if ever you're in within a hospital network that you need to add proxy settings or other internal settings, you can go to network system and take care of it. You usually don't have to do that because it's auto detected, but if you have to, this is where you'll do it. So here, when you start the session, you'll see the menu with the different choices. When you're going to click on your contact list at first, they'll have nobody in it. You'll have no one. So in order to invite other people, you can either go to the React database. So here, if I would type, for example, Martin. So then any Martin in the React database will appear. And if you want to invite them, you can just go here and click invite. If they're already in your address book, you'll know because you'll see their status like red, yellow, or green, and otherwise you can just invite them. If you don't find the person in there, you just have to type the email address. So for example, I would type michael.jackson at, oh, there's nobody, gmail.com. So here it tells you if you want to invite that person to join you on React, send invitation. I could then just type a message and click send, and the other user would be receiving a request for invitation. And as soon as they accept it, they have to accept it to make sure that they confirm that they want to connect with you. You will see them either offline in red or online in green, in which case you can just hit connect and start a session. Okay, and we'll connect with my colleague Aldous in a second. You can remove any contact if you're tired of having them in your roster, so you can do that anytime. And here an important point is when you connect with one person peer-to-peer, you can go directly to the person you want to connect with and hit connect. But if you want to do a meeting with more than one person, instead of clicking on connect, you click on start a meeting. And what this does is that it opens a room, and you're going to see yourself like this. So now you're ready to call the other guys. So you would go into connect, you'll see your same contact list, and then you will be calling 1, 2, 3 people. You can have up to 6 people all together. So just remember, if you want to just do a face-to-face and just have a session with one person, you can go to contact and directly hit connect. But if you want to do instead a meeting with multiple participants, make sure that you go into the meeting mode. And when you're in meeting mode, you appear as yellow. And once you're there, people cannot call you. So don't wait for people to call you in the meeting mode. You better hang up and just get out of the room and wait in the home page for people to call you. Otherwise, you won't be available if you're signed in as busy. Then you have a library. Library is very interesting because it allows you, each user has 2 GB of data on the internet, and you have your personal encrypted account. And as you can see here, so you have categories: images, videos, 3D objects, snapshot gallery, documents, checklist, and reports. So what is this? So let's say you would like to build a library of different images that you would be using during a React session. So here you can see I already have a bunch of folders and other images that are just freestanding. So I could say I'm gonna go get new images. So let's go get, let's say, horses here, and the minute I click on open, then the image is being uploaded, as you can see here, with the timestamp, the size, the type of file, and I could eventually use it in any session. I could send by email that image, and later on, if it's a file, a PowerPoint, whatever, you can send it through React. So instead of having a Dropbox, you can use React to do that. Even if you have a 200 megabyte file, you can send it through React. You can also, if you have a picture that you've put in your library and you would like to put it on your computer, you can hit that save asset locally, and then just say, for example, I'll put it in my pictures. You click on it, and well, in this case it already exists, but so you would be able to just put it wherever you want. Okay, and then it's the same for everything. If you want to upload video to your account, you're going to go to video, create your folder. React has a bunch of 3D objects that I'm going to show you during the demo. In order for you to play with, you can go into a file named demo 3D, and you have a bunch of 3D objects that are pre-populated for you to play with. And later on, if you'd like to add others, you can add your own 3D objects. Snapshot gallery, in fact, this is where when you take an image or a video during a session, automatically a folder is created with the date of the day. And then when you go in it, you will see the images or videos that you took. So you can rename them, you can add a message to it. So this is where everything is classified. And if later on you have to, you took a picture and you have to save it to your electronic medical record, you click on it, you click on the little disk, and then you save it locally to your USB key or to your EMR. Then documents, same things. You can upload PowerPoint, Excel file, PDF, and use them during a React session. And checklists and reports, I'll get back to it. But in React, you can create your own template for checklist or reports so that you can fill that up during your session, and we'll get back to that. Now, so checklists and reports are here. So, and again, you'll be able to listen to the entire tutorial on this in order to know how to do it. But you could say, I want a template of a report. I'm going to click on the report, new template, and then here you can say, okay, let's start. I'm going to first put an image of my medical center. So I could go here and then go into my picture, and I'm going to put here a koala. Okay, so this I would put to the right. There you go. Now I would put text line. So ultrasound, examination, check list. There you go. And then I would say, okay, now next thing I would like to have is the name of the patient. Name. Then this next thing would be age, and so on and so forth. So you can build your checklist template, and you'll later on be able in React to just fill it up as you're doing your session or in advance. And here you can go from the design mode to the fill mode just to try it out. So Joe Blow, age 20, and then you can even go into the print mode to see what it's going to look like when you print it. So this nice feature of React allows you to create your checklist or report templates so that you can use them live during a session. And we're going to go into the session mode in a second with Aldous, but just know that you can use React even without internet, so that if you have a very low internet connection, you could click on session, start now, a new session, and then you could use your webcam and record. Let's say I would take it and say, okay, here's the, I'm just going to put it here on my holder, and I could say, okay, here's a wound, and I'm going to be recording that scene. So I could take my pointer and explain there's this wound here. Not exactly sure what to do with it. So here the autofocus should kick in. Let me go closer. Okay, so what about this wound? I could either take a picture like this, just takes a snapshot, or there's a video recording taking place now. I'm going to stop the recording. And here in your snapshot gallery, as soon as you're done taking a picture or a video, they're right here. So now what I could do would be to, without even connecting live, I could send that video to a remote user. So here, for example, if I want to send it to Aldous, I'm going to go to Message. I'm going to select Aldous, Start, and I would say, here is a video of a wound. Okay, send. And now I would go to the little Insert, Send an Asset. I'm going to go into my snapshot gallery. And as I said before, right away a file was created with the date of the day. I'm going to go get my video that I created, select and send, and now this video is being sent securely encrypted through Reax. And on the other end, the user will get that video, okay, and then can save it to his assets or to his video subsection of the library. And then would just go in snapshot gallery or videos, depending on where he put it. So for example, here, when you click on that blue plus at the bottom of the quick pick area, it opens your library, the same library I presented to you earlier on. So the person would go to either snapshot or video, depending on where it was placed. Let me remove it here from the quick pick so that we can mock it up. So if I would be the other person, I would go in React, I would go to wherever I saved it, let's say snapshot gallery, plus I would go to the date or to the folder I created. I get the video I received, drag and drop. So I drag and drop it into my quick pick area. I close the library, and now I could take that video and put it right in the scene. So I could take my pointer and explain. So now you can see and hear the video that I just did 2 seconds before. So here the autofocus should kick in. There you go. So now I'm going to do a right click. Right click on this scene. I'm going to go to player control, show player control. I'll mute the sound. So now on the other end, I could stop the video. I could just go through it. And then what you can do if you want to attend and tell the people what to do, I can now re-record. So I'm going to go get a different color pointer. Let's say I'm going to take a pink one, a little bigger. And then I'm going to re-record over it. So I can give my instruction and tell the person, okay, so here, this is where I would like you to put a little bit of dressing or put this. And then I can have the video restart, stop, and then give other instructions. So it's very, very easy. I could say, let's compare it to a wound of last week. So I would go back to, let's say, the wound, the picture I took the week before, put it in my quick pick. I can then put it side by side like this and compare them. And all of this is being recorded. I can even take another picture. I could click like this, and now a new picture has just been created. Okay, and then I'll stop my recording. So this is the new scene. So I could now go to rename and click response to Dr. X. And then I could say, here is the wound with my instructions. And then when you would send it to the other person, you can even send it by email. And, you know, but email is not confidential, but you could do right click, send by email, and just put the email address of the person like this, paste, send, and instantaneously the person will receive the video, the image, or the file that you sent, even if they don't have Reax. Okay, so this is just showing you how you could be using Reax synchronously or asynchronously to do all kinds of different things. Okay, so now what we're going to do is call my colleague Aldous. So I'm just going to go here. Let's say we do it from the start. So we're at the home page. I'm going to go to Contacts, and I'm going to go get Aldous and click on Connect. So you're going to hear the ringing. And then Aldous will pick it up, and we're going to establish a face-to-face connection. So this, you may see the red camera as the connection is being established. There you go. How are you?
Not bad. Yourself?
Good, good. So just introduced our viewer here to a bunch of different features of Reax. So, and you can see here in the meantime, Aldous had replied to me to the message I sent. So if I go to messages here, and I can see I have one new message where Aldous sent it to me, and then he said, okay, thanks, I'll add it to the file. So now if I tell Aldous, how do you find the wound? And then instantly he gets that message on his side, and then Al, you can reply something. So then, so if you don't have enough bandwidth to do a live video feed or live video conference, you'll be able to work with this asynchronous type of secure encrypted messaging. So here he wrote, looks like a minor issue for now. So you could have multiple instant messages conversation at the same time. So you don't even have to be with someone offline. So I can go with my colleague David Bouchard, click on start, and have a different conversation here. So you could have a couple of conversations with different users, even if they're not online. They'll receive your messages, your file, and they'll be able to reply. So again, the idea with Reax is not only to have that video conferencing, but to have different modalities of communication. So we can bring secure communication with file transfer, instant messages, and video collaboration. You can have the entire telehealth spectrum, and finally, remote education, supervision, and assessment. So here, Aldous and I were in the face-to-face mode. So he see me, I see him. From that simple screen, we can use the secure messaging as I showed you. And if I would like to share a PowerPoint with him or my browser or anything else, I would just hit here the function share. And this shows me everything that's open on my computer. So if I would like to show a PowerPoint, I first need to open it. I minimize it, and then when I'm ready to show it to my counterpart, I just double click on it, and then in a second here, Aldous will see my PowerPoint, and you will see here the control bar. Okay, so here I'm controlling everything. I can go here in my full screen mode and do my PowerPoint for Aldous, and I can move that bar, wherever I want. But I can also give him the control. If I want him to collaborate with me and change things in my presentation, I just have to click Give Control. So on his hand, the screen will appear and disappear, and now you see I'm not doing anything. He's controlling the presentation. And if I take back the mouse, it's mine, and so we can share control. And as soon as you hit Escape, you get back the control, whatever the person is doing. And then if I click on Close, I'm just closing the screen sharing. So whatever you want to share securely, so PowerPoint, Excel file, a PAC system to discuss about a CT scan, you can just use that very simple function. Note that if ever there's a problem, you unplug your microphone, you change your webcam, and you have to choose again a different microphone or speaker, you always have here at the bottom the settings function where you can go to your audio video inputs and make sure you can again select the right microphone or speaker. Earlier on I was telling you about the tutorials. So here, when you hit the little help button, okay, you can go and get the tutorials, and when you click on it, let's say we use Edge, it will just bring you online to the full series of tutorials of Reax. So here today, this is just kind of a global overview, but once you want to know more, let's say you want to know how to log in, you will click here. It brings you to a YouTube video. It may be a 2 or 3 minute video, and it will give you all the information with screen captures, pointers. So here, if I just go in it,
note that for convenience, you can click on if you forgot your password.
So you see, it's very convenient, very easy to follow. Okay, so anywhere, even when you're not in React, you can access the tutorials and go learn more about the functions. So now, when we're ready to pass in a more collaborative mode, we click on Begin Session. And now you recognize the screen that you've seen before. So let me take you through the interface of Reax. On the left side, you will find the same icons that you have in your library. So these, in fact, they're called assets, and we've gone through them before: images, video, 3D objects, snapshot gallery, scenes, documents, checklists, and reports. And if you hit Home, you're gonna close the session and go back to the home page. So this, on the left, you have the assets, and when you click on one of the category, you have a quick pick space that appears. What is quick pick? In fact, quick pick is where you will put whatever that you want to have handy during a session. When you have nothing prepared, for sure your quick pick is empty. So then you hit the plus button and it brings you to your library for that specific category. So if I would like to show a couple of images to Aldous, here I'm going to go into the demo images, the folder medical, and I'm going to go get a leg ulcer, a chest x-ray. So what I'm doing is just drag and dropping the asset in the quick pick. If the asset is already on your computer, you'll have a little check mark like you see here. And if ever it was uploaded on another machine and it's in the cloud, like here, you see that little cloud? When I click on it and I drag and drop it in the quick pick, automatically it will synchronize it with my cloud and bring it locally. So the beauty of Reax is that wherever you are on whatever computer, when you log in, you have access centrally to all your files that are in your encrypted web account. So now, if I want, I could save that session. Oh, and I could come here on the right side. Now this is the column where you have actions. So you can add scenes, and I'll show you why later, because you can have different scenes at the same time. You can go back to face-to-face. So by clicking on begin session or face-to-face, we alternate. You can hang up. And you can come here under session. If I click save as, and I call it here, MSF demo session, okay, save. Whatever I'm putting into my assets, so images, checklists, if I'm saving clips, they're all going to be under that session called MSF demo. And later on, I could call a colleague, okay, open the MSF session and have everything that I've included in it and show it to my colleague that is remote. So this is another unique aspect of Reax, of being able to prepare all your assets, whatever you'll need during a session, so that when you connect with someone, everything is there. Okay. So and finally, the other feature in action on the right side is file transfer. The cool thing with that is that it's another way to transfer file encrypted to your colleague. So if I would like to send that chest x-ray to Aldous, I would click, I do a left click on my quick pick here, right on it. I drag and drop it across the screen on the icon file transfer. I let go, and now it just said transferred. So Aldous on his side, he just received that file and he can save it to his computer. So Al, maybe if you can put a document or an image in your quick pick and then transfer it to me, so we'll be able to see, to show what people can see when it's being transferred.
Sure, just 1 second.
So here, if you put your eye on file transfer, there you go, we see a little 1. So Al just dragged and dropped an asset on it. I click on it and I have white paper Reax. I can now download it locally. So let's say I put it on my desktop, save, and then you will see the loader here. So in just a few seconds, it puts it right on your desktop. Now I can minimize Reax and go get the document, which is, no, it's not this one. I'll go get here, white paper. And then it's right here. So you can easily transfer a file either through the secure messaging, as I've shown before, or live when you're doing it like that. Now you will see that on top, I can see Aldous' camera. And at the bottom, I can see my camera. It's always like this. So your own camera feeds are at the bottom, and your counterpart camera feeds are on top. So now, in order for me I can put what I want in the scene here. So I'm going to click on my camera, and I drag and drop it right in the scene. So I see my cam. Now, if I would like to have Aldous, I'm going to click on his camera. I'm going to drag it over, and you see that when I'm dragging the camera over, there are these blue highlights. I didn't let drop the camera yet. I can either place it to the left, to the right, above, or below, okay? Or in the middle. So if I place it to the left, let's do it like that. We're going to be side-by-side camera. I can even click on the camera feed and enter, change them. Now, if I would like to remove one of the camera, I go over it with my mouse, right-click, and then it tells me everything I can do. So if I would like to rename it, I could click on, show name, and then click on the name and type Aldous, and then I can go over mine and do the same, name, show name, and then I click on it, whoops, and I can rename that So it's very intuitive. If I want to remove Aldous, I'm going to right click, go and delete it, and then it's gone. So if I want to now put Aldous more as a medallion, like smaller camera, I drag and drop it in the middle. When you drag anything in the middle of a scene, you can do what you want with it. Now I'm playing with my mouse, so I can rotate the camera, put it smaller, bigger. Okay, you do what you want. And the two users can play with everything that's on the scene. So Al, if you click on your video feed, so I'm doing nothing here, my hands are here. So Al can click on his own video feed. Oh, share, sorry, I'm not sharing, sorry. Good point, Al. So here, you see there's a big blue button. It's written share. And I even forgot myself. When you don't, as long as you don't share the scene, the other user doesn't see it. So it allows you to put whatever you want in it so that it appears fine. And when you're ready to show your scene, you hit the button share. And now you'll see that blue bar on top. So you know it's being shared. So now I'll just see the scene. So now, Al, you can click on your own video feed. So here I'm doing nothing. So both users can add video feeds, play with them, change the sides. So when you're adding a feed, then you may wonder, what can I do with it? So here again, so here you see Al is playing with the opacity of the feed. So you just have to do a right click. So if I right click on that video feed here, right click, it shows me everything I can do. I can rename it. I can arrange it, so bring it to the front, to the back. I can play with the opacity. So if I choose opacity, I can then put it semi-transparent. And you see, as I'm doing that, Al cropped it. So here, if I go back to right-click, there's a function called crop. So if I click on it, it allows me to crop this image, zoom and crop where I want. Apply and start. And you see the image is being cropped. And if you're all confused because you did too many changes, you can right-click, choose the option reset, and it just brings it exactly as it was. So whatever you're wondering, what can I do with that asset or with that feed, just do right-click on it. And when you're playing with what we call a background, which is what's in the background, you have less option than when you have an asset. An asset is a floating asset as done here. Right-click on it and it shows you everything you can do. Okay. So now you can see here at the bottom I have another camera. So I'm just going to take it, drag and drop it here. And automatically if I do this, okay, it's being activated. So now Al will see my two cameras. And I can take his camera, put it here at the bottom. And now I can even put another camera. And as you will understand, the more camera you put, the more bandwidth you need. This is why if you're in an area with low bandwidth, you don't want to connect too many cameras. Or just use them one at a time. So if I hit my little camera button here to mute it or to hide it, it disappears and it's off from the bandwidth. So then here you'll see I'm going to connect another camera. This camera is like a pen camera. Okay, let's say for skin lesions or things like this. So I'm just connecting it, just USB connected in my computer port. And you have seen it now. It appeared at the bottom in my video feeds, but it's muted. So it's not using bandwidth. Now if I want to show it to my counterpart, I'm just going to drag and drop it under here. And this camera here, turn it around, so I can use it. And I'm going to play with the okay, focus here. So you see it gives a super clear definition. So you can use it for, you know, looking in the mouth, looking at the eye, looking at, you know, skin lesion. So the nice thing, it shows you what I'm doing here with this camera on top, and you can see the video feed at the bottom. So now, let's say Aldous would like to examine this. If he would be the expert at a distance, he could use the function here in the scene, which is that little camera. So I'm going to take a picture, take a snapshot. I just hit it, okay? And by doing this, either me or Aldous can take a snapshot. And the snapshot now is here. It's being encrypted in the snapshot gallery. Okay, now if I would like to do a video clip so that we can record it for education purpose, for reporting purpose, if I hit recording, and Al here, wait before giving your consent, the minute you click recording, it asks the other person for consent. So here it says, waiting for Aldous Vish to accept scene recording. If Al, you click OK, then recording of the scene starts. Okay. Now I can stop it, and right away the video will be encrypted and recorded in my quick pick. Now let's say, Aldous, you want to record me, so I'll let you click on the recording. So when you click on the recording, it says, do you allow Aldous Vish to record scene 1? So I can say do not allow. I can say allow, which will allow it once. Or I could say allow recording of other scenes during this session without asking permission. So by doing this, that means that I won't have to click OK every time, and the counterpart can record more than one scene. So here, if I do allow recording, the recording start on his hand, okay? And then if you stop it, Al, then he's going to have the video on his end, okay? So now I'll remove the light before being blind. So now I'm going to remove that camera. The best when you remove a camera is to go on the camera feed, right-click, and eject it. Okay, so it's a bit like when you're removing a USB stick so that you avoid having problems. So now if I would like to review the image I took with Al, I could just, two things. I can unshare that scene. I could leave it shared, but just to avoid confusion, add a new scene, go open my snapshot, and just take my image I took earlier on like this and share it. So now in your sub-menu, here in your menu, you have the pointer option. When you click on the little blue bar, you can choose the color, let's say yellow, you can choose the size, okay? And once you're ready, you click OK. And when you activate the pointer, you'll see it on the screen. And now, Al, put your pointer too. So the two users can use their pointers of a different color, different size, and we can then interact and discuss about what we see on the screen. If you would like to crop that image, no problem. Right click, crop. Let's say I'm going to crop just on my eyes like this. There you go. Apply and start. And now I have this zoomed and cropped image. I would like to have my live feed. No problem. I'm going to get my camera, drag and drop. I'm going to put it inside like this. I could put Aldous webcam, drag and drop like this. And now we can both interact on that image. Okay. So now I'm going to close that and I'm going to reshare the main scene. Now, let's say I want to show him a video because I'm doing some recording or some teaching. So I'm going to go to video. I'm going to go in my video files. So let's say I'm going to go get an ultrasound video. So I'm going to go into my folder medical. And here I have a thrombus in the right internal jugular vein. So I'm going to get drag and drop here. Okay. And I'm also going to get a parasternal long axis view of the heart. Okay. So I'm getting these two clips. And as soon as the clip is ready, I can then take it, either open it in a new scene, or just drag and drop it. And now Aldous and we can both see that clip. And I can tell him, look at this big jugular vein with a big clot in it. And if I would like to show him a normal clip, just so that he can compare, I would go to my videos. Here I have a normal right IJ. Okay, drag and drop in my quick picks. And as soon as the encryption is done and it's ready, I take it, I put it right beside, and now I can show him, here's the normal IJ, here's the one with the big clot. So we can record this, take a snapshot. So now, if we want to get into, I would say, a bit more fancy stuff. Let's say I want to show you how to perform an ultrasound of the heart and look at the parasternal long axis view. So I'm going to put back my camera here. In fact, I'm going to take Aldous as the model here. I'm going to drag and drop his feed here. So Al, just center your camera so I can see more of your chest. Perfect. So now I would take this parasternal long axis view of the heart, put it right beside here. Okay. So we can see that, let me put my pointer a little smaller here. Okay. So if I would like to teach him the anatomy, I would go into my images and I'm going to go get an image showing a view of the heart. So right here. Okay, so this is a parasternal long axis view of the heart. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to place it over the real-time video. Okay, so I'll remove my pointer. So now I'm going to place it so that it pretty much matches the video underneath. I'm going to right-click on it, choose opacity, and I'm going to bring the opacity down so that I can absolutely and perfectly match the exact orientation of the image. Okay. So that now I can do teaching and explain to the person, this is the anterior septal wall, this is the posterior wall, this is the mitral valve. So let me go full screen here so you'll see better. And now I can bring back my opacity with my full image and show you here, okay, this is the atrium, the 2 mitral valve leaflets, the left ventricle, and then bring this down so that the person can understand exactly the anatomy, okay? So now, if I want to go a notch, let's go a little bit deeper. If I would like to show Al how to hold the probe, I'm going to go get a 3D object. Okay, so I'm going to click on 3D objects, and I'm going to go get here in the demo 3D medical, and I'm going to get body here, and I'm going to get an ultrasound probe. There you go, transducer, phased array. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this 3D body, I'm going to put it on the scene. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger like this. And I'm going to take my 3D ultrasound probe, and now I can move that probe around and place it here on this and explain, okay, here's where the marker needs to be. It has to be oriented so that it's toward the right shoulder. And I could even get rid of that 3D body and put this directly on Aldous and say, here's where the probe needs to be in order to get a parasternal long axis view. Okay, so it allows you to do this very dynamic teaching, but I can even do more than that. So here, let me show you the trick that I'm going to do. I'm going to take my webcam and put it right underneath. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using, here I have a camera holder. Okay, it's a very simple holder that you can clip anywhere, very robust. And I'm going to orient my camera toward this black cardboard here. Okay, so I'm just placing my camera oriented toward the cardboard. And what I'm going to do here is I'll remove the video feed here, and I'll just put it here on the camera on the scene. Now I'm going to do a right click, choose the opacity, and bring the opacity down to, let's say, about 60%. And by doing so, what I'm going to do here is use a 3D object. I printed from a file, I printed a 3D cardiac probe, okay, that I have in my hands. And I'm going to put the probe right underneath the camera feed. And now I'm going to superimpose that camera feed on Aldous. So I can now tell the user at a distance, put the probe here, turn it like this, move it like that, okay? If I would do a vascular exam of the neck, what I'm going to do, Al, just turn your neck on one side like this, perfect. I'm going to crop his image like this. There you go, apply and start. I'm going to put this here. Now I'm going to take another probe, and I can put my ultrasound probe in his neck and tell him you need to scan like this, turn there. If you have to put a needle and do an ultrasound guidance, you can take it and say put the needle right here, so you can interact live on the image of the remote user. Okay, and now Al, I'm just going to remove all of this, and let's say you would be doing some wound care. So now, instead of doing a live camera feed, I'm just going to put that pretty ugly wound. So you could superimpose your hand. So I'm just going to put my camera here, right over here. And I would take my scalpel handle and here, and I would be able to say, oh, you have to cut this area here, remove that part. So it allows you to do this live superimposition and work on the feed of the other user, so that you can tell them exactly what to do, and they can literally follow you step by step to do a procedure or to help, with a piece of equipment. It just shows you how you can use these different functionality in a very easy way. Here I'm showing you a lot of different things, but in fact it's always the same. Drag and drop. You can play with it, change opacity, change size, so it becomes very, very simple. Another thing I want to show you is about the checklist and reports. So if I go here in checklists, I'm going to go in my library. So let's say I'm going to go into a checklist template, and I created an ultrasound examination checklist. So this could be anything. It could be a wound checklist. It could be a report that you're doing for an exam. It could be a report, a very standardized format. So once your checklist is here, you drag and drop it on your React's background. And then you can see here, I'm just going to move that scene. So here's the checklist. So ultrasound examination checklist, I can make it bigger. So the name, so let's say I'm examining Joe Blow. The date is November 2nd. The hospital is, let's say, MSF. And now I'm starting. So I could be looking at the live ultrasound feed. So let's say here I'm going to place a video. If the user is doing a live ultrasound exam, I'm looking at what he's doing and I could say, okay, gain is adequate. Position of the probe on the chest is correct. And then I can see all the structure, left atrium, left ventricle. If I would like to include a snapshot, while I'm doing the exam, I take a snapshot, okay? And then in my snapshot gallery, my snapshot is being encrypted here. And I can then, once it's ready, I can take it and include it in my checklist, as you can see here. So now in my report or checklist template, I have everything including the picture. I can leave a comment, good exam, okay? And when I'm done, I can save it or even send it as a PDF to someone right away, okay? So send PDF by email. And when you're doing so, it constructs it in a report format. And I'm going to send it here to my mailbox, send by email. And then by doing so, right away, I'm going to receive the full report in my email. So this shows you how you can be using a checklist in order to for a report or checklist template in order to complete your assessment. So either you do it when you're offline and then you're sending everything asynchronously to the user that will check it out, to your consultant, and he can reply to you, or you do it live as we've done. So the last thing I want to tell you is that if ever you want to connect an ultrasound machine, if you want to connect a bronchoscope, any type of video, that has a video output, in fact, any machine, any device with a video output, you will only need a converter. So here I have an example of one called Blue Diamond, and this is one where you could connect an RCA cable or an S-video, so whatever has RCA or S-video output, and then it converts the signal into USB. And the minute you connect it in Reacts, it's recognized as a webcam, and you can diffuse it to other people remotely. So so it shows you the wide array of application of Reacts, both asynchronously and synchronously. And it shows you can use it for secure communication, for telehealth purposes, or for sure for remote education, training, and live supervision. Before concluding, I'm going to show you, remember I sent myself 2 things by email. So if I go into my email account, I'm going to see here you have received 1 new Reacts asset. And this here is the video I sent initially. So here, this is where I would like the person can open and see the video right away. This, and then I can have the and by doing right click, stop, they can save the video. So it takes 2 seconds and they receive it in their mailbox. And here I'm just going to refresh my mailbox. And now I received the second asset, which was the checklist. So I click on it and I just can open the checklist, that I just received. And here's the checklist that I did with all the things that I filled up, the snapshot I took. So it just shows you again how simple the application is. And as long as you have adequate internet, you'll be able to do great stuff. Right now, the app is available in its full version for Windows. We have a lighter version for iOS. And there will be a nice update early December for secure messaging and other applications in iOS. And later in 2017, look forward for the Mac version and later on the Android version. So it will come. So on that, I think I did a good wrap up and hopefully it was useful to you. Thanks to Al for being there for the session, and we hope you have fun with Reacts.